Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Yeah. Welcome on into The Real Friday Night Live edition. I hope you guys having a good night, late night edition. Want to come up here and react to a few things tonight. Kind of bored sitting here at the house and had some things in my mind I want to come up here and talk about. So some sports stuff and some other stuff as well. So a couple things from my show the other day I wanted to touch on. But like I said, if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. Best way you can support this channel. The subscriptions have been going up recently, so I appreciate that. Leave a comment below in this video. And yeah, man, I hope you guys are having a good day today. I had a good day today. It was my man Corey Mihalik, my fellow Falcons fan. I was with him earlier. Went up, got a sub with him, and was talking about talking to our boy Antonis a little bit ago. Yeah, he's having an okay night. Just leave it at that. He's all right though. But Mike knows what I'm talking about. Just not getting detail, but just Mike, whatever Mike ate today. Yeah. Anyways, moving on now. But yeah, having a good day. It's a good start to the weekend. Hope you guys having a good week as well. And want to touch on the first thing I'll talk about. I'm going to get into Jaylen Brown here today, or tonight rather. I want to touch on Jaylen Brown for a minute. Did he get snubbed from Team USA and this whole Nike controversy? And I'm going to share why I think Jaylen Brown got snubbed. To me, he did get snubbed. I mean, I get Derek White had a good year last year, but how Derek White got in over his teammate who was the Finals MVP and is better player, longer, taller, more athletic, which is kind of what they need to when you lose a guy like Kawhi. You need more size, but I'm gonna get into it, and I'm also getting a little Bronny James. His game just got over here a couple of minutes ago. He had an okay first half, and then he's 0 of 8 tonight. I think he's 0 of 15 or 16 from 3 so far in the summer league. So I'm gonna get into Bronny here, but first thing I wanted to touch on real quick. The other day on my live, you guys watched, or not my live, my podcast the other day, I was talking about more spiritual things. Played a sermon from my good friend and mentor Mike Snodgrass from his sermon, and I talked about how there's 3 ways from the story of I don't want to botch the name. It was the biblical story I shared the other day on my show. I'll make sure I get the name right before I bring it up again. But anyways, I was talking about basically the different roads in life. Basically, is what I was getting at the other day in my show, and how there's one way it could be exile, which is like slavery. Another way is the middle ground, which is somebody. Well, no, one way is exile, which is what we call slavery, and the other way would be the room with basically God, right? Now, let me pull up my notes from the other day if I can find. Don't give me one hot second, but I told the story about 2 Samuel and Jonathan's son, right? And he entered the King David protected him. Oh, Mephibosheth. Yeah, that was it. Mephibosheth, that story, right? And how he was Jonathan's son, and Jonathan's father was Saul. Jonathan and Saul die in battle, right? But King and Saul hated David. But David had such a good relationship with Jonathan that Jonathan, out of loyalty and thanks to his friendship, he took care of Mephibosheth, right? And I talked about how there was 2 different rooms, right? Mike did in the sermon. There was 2 different rooms. And in one room, you got the throne room, which is where he was rescued and brought to. He surrendered, right? Then the other way was Egypt, was exile, right? Which is like the worst part of our lives, right? Basically being away from God, somebody with anxiety, going through a bad anxiety spell, or, maybe involved in the wrong things we shouldn't be in, right? That's exile, slavery, things that really mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually harm us and don't help us. They lead us in the wrong direction. And then there's the middle road, right? There's the middle ground between both of them. And a lot of people are in that middle road. And I talked about the other day, a lot of in our society nowadays, you see a lot of people who are in that middle road, especially public figures, that get brought back into slavery, right? Women that they're in the throne room, and then they go back into slavery. And so I brought up the other day on my show, I talked about Hawk Tuah girl, Haley Welch, and I talked about how she was somebody who was just a ordinary pumpkin, country bumpkin, and got famous from saying something, a silly, inappropriate joke that blew up, and now she's kind of leaning into that character and having a podcast, a merch, and all this, and now you're kind of seeing her. Yeah, so that's somebody you could see kind of get led down the wrong direction one day, uh, following all the wrong things. She's going along now. She's going to be in L.A. and doing all this stuff, and I said that could be the wrong road for somebody like her because what she's known for isn't something that's really like to be proud of. I mean, it's a joke, but it's not like you know how she likes to please men in bed. I don't think I don't know. That's something I want to be known for. That's my name. Nobody really knows a real name. And then I brought up though sketch, right? And I want to clarify on this because I was thinking about this last couple of days. Number one, when I said the other day on my show, I reacted to this incident with Sketch about some of the stuff that came out about him recently from his past, and he put out a video addressing it. And so when I reacted to this the other day, I'll be honest, I apologize. I did not do a good enough job uh, looking into the full situation and research for a comment on it. Number one, I don't know Sketch. I never really watched Sketch. I don't really know much about him. I know I've seen him. I've seen the NFL's promoted him a lot. He went up there and did the draft and stuff, and so I didn't really know much about him, at all. I knew he was a famous somebody, and I did always notice when I'd see him, you could tell he was, had disabilities and um, stuff like that. And so obviously now all this stuff come out. There's a lot of people, for different things. So a lot of stuff I react to the other day from the situation from the article I wrote from the New York Post and stuff. I was just looking at it from that perspective, and I kind of glanced at the video he put out, and so I probably should look more into it if I gave my opinion. I did make I did make the comment the other day. I thought, a lot of the people that were out kind of I don't know if they say defending him or on his side. I said I thought a lot of it was kind of a joke because and what I meant by that is I think when I watched that video again of him a couple times, I actually feel really bad for this kid. I have really sympathy for him because I think, uh, he's somebody. I see somebody in that video crying out for help that's kind of confused and just doesn't know what to do, right? And so, and some of the stuff he was saying, where he was mentally was really serious. And so, when I said the other day, I thought the people around him were kind of a joke in how they were responding. What I meant by that was just kind of want to get into with Bronny a little bit. I just think people aren't really helping him out. I question a lot of people that say they're his quote friends, but they're not really. A lot when you listen to a lot of these reaction videos on YouTube and stuff, they get tons of views, and because they put his name in it, and it's a hot situation. It's a more recent situation. I just kind of wonder. I think a lot of people aren't really helping him out. I think they're leading him more down to victimhood, which, like I said, which lead the other day, which leads more into exile. And so, that's why I thought too as well when I watched this thing. I just didn't really see somebody that was really like, um, I don't know. It just seemed like it was more about him and his brand and who he's become, and he just kind of got caught doing something. I made the comment the other day. I didn't really see a lot of like humility, but when I watched the video again, I just see somebody that's just struggling, right? That just, I actually give him credit that he admitted to it, and he said, he made the one comment, I'll let you guys see my flaws, and I respect somebody like that. I hope he finds the help he needs. That wasn't me trying to criticize him or root against him or anything. I was just trying to give it a, like I said, I made a mistake the other day, and I apologize to Sketch and to people that I should have looked more into if I really commented on it. And so, um, but looking back though, looking more into the situation, I hope he finds help. I think, like I said, I just think a lot of people around him are really kind of enabling the victimhood mentality to him. All right, just some of the stuff I've seen, they're trying to get him to lean into a certain direction that I think he said he had an addiction with, and I think he's kind of over. Just leave it at that. That's just my opinion. Now I know there's been some other people too, some crazy stuff online. Wondering if if he's a character and all this stuff. Obviously, there's been that one guy. I don't even know his name. He's another streamer, I guess, who went berserk and really accused him of some pretty serious things. That basically said that Sketch was allegedly, not a real person, like in terms of how he acts and stuff. But I don't know. I hope he finds help. I hope again, uh, I just hope he has the right people around him to lead him in the right direction. Sometimes you got to walk away from things or put things aside that maybe you profit off of, or have good, maybe like who he is now, what he's been doing. Maybe he needs to walk away from some things. I don't know. I don't know this man, but it all goes to my bigger point the other day though, with Hawk Tua Girl and Sketch. What we've created in our society, we've created these types of problems with people because we've the stuff that Sketch was involved with, that's he says he regrets and clearly bothers him, and you look at what Hawk Tua Girl, the path she's on now. We're creating these people. We're not setting people up down success and down right paths. Even if you're a Christian or not, a lot of these paths are leading people down. It's just for our own entertainment, right? Or for seems to be maybe agendas that are trying to be driven. But these people are the ones that are gonna have to. They're the ones that are going to suffer. And I think a lot of these people, they're not. When I watched Sketch's video the other day, I just see somebody that's crying out for help, and I hope he gets like the real, true help he needs to heal the root causes. When I see somebody like Haley Welch, Shock to a Girl, I don't have as much sympathy for her, but I do think she's somebody that's definitely feeling a lot of that pressure, and she's probably just going along with it. And deep down inside, does she really want to be this person? We don't know. Maybe she, good chance she doesn't want to go down this road, but maybe her family and people around her. I mean, I saw something, they were going to interview her grandmother and all this stuff, and it's just like, whoa, like they're promoting her and they're pushing her into being this character. But why is that? Right? Why are they pushing her to be this character? Right? Why were there so many people the other day putting out reaction videos to Sketch and using his name for content? Right? And people could say that both ways, but a lot of you could tell there were some other streamers and guys who really know him who had these genuine responses, but there was a lot of YouTubers and people that just reacting to it that I feel like were just disingenuous, that were just doing it just because they feel like they had to, because it was hot news, and also they had to go along with a certain narrative because they feel like they'll get canceled. That's my whole point. That's not helping Sketch, the person, whoever. I don't know his real name, but that's not helping him. And so that's my whole point of this all, especially with Hawk to a Girl. They're not helping her out either. And so, but I just wanted to clear on the air on that again and kind of give a different take on it, with looking more into that situation with him and her, and just kind of my whole meeting the other day. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. And when you watch it, when you hear me in certain parts, now you know what I'm saying. And like I said, I apologize again. I didn't. I usually look into everything. I mean, knows me. I look too much into a lot of things usually, but that one there, I should have looked more into before I comment on it. But my intent was good. It wasn't out of malicious or criticizing him or trying to put him in some way. But like I said the other day, though, what we're promoting, the things we're promoting in our society, we're creating these characters now, like Hawk to a Girl. That's her name now. They don't know where's Haley anymore. And Sketch, I don't know his name, right? But now people are pushing him down this road. Now I hope he finds the help he needs. But we're creating these people that more of these people in our society that seem like they're kind of lost or they need help. You know what I mean? Or just how we create more mental health problems in our society. So prayers to Sketch. Hope he finds the help he needs, and Hawk to a Girl as well. And so, but moving on now, I wanted to touch on this tonight because this has really been trending today, the last couple of days. Team USA. I watched the first game the other night, the scrimmage, whatever it was, against Canada. The starting lineup was not impressive to me. They kind of struggled early. I get it was the rhythm. I thought they were a little too small. Steph Curry with Devin Booker. Was it Steph Curry, Devin Booker? I know LeBron was at the 4. And I believe he had Embiid at the 5. Who was the other guy he had out there? Hold on, off the top of my head, I can't think right now. But it was another guard. He had Anthony Edwards on the bench. Steve Kerr did, and he also had He had Edwards on the bench. Anthony Davis was on the bench. Both of them had great games. Anthony Davis had a monster game. I thought he looked really good. Um, who was the other guy? Let me pull up the roster here. Right. So Kawhi Leonard the other day also. You guys saw Kawhi just drop from the team, and there's been this whole controversy because they picked Jaylen Brown's teammate, right, Derek White, over him, and a lot of people are wondering, like, how in the hell do you justify picking Derek White over um, Jaylen Brown? How does that make sense, right? And so it was Devin Booker. I'm looking at the roster now. Devin Booker, Stephen Curry, Drew Holiday. That's who it was. So 6'3". Drew Holiday 6'3", Curry 6'2", Booker 6'5". They have listed at 6'5". I don't think he's probably more 6'3", but I don't know. Devin Booker to me, I would bring him off the bench personally. I would put if you're gonna put another guard out there, put Ant-Man out there. Or I would even put LeBron at the 3, put AD at the 4 because AD's been killing. But if you want to split the minutes, I mean, you could or somebody more guys off the bench and more impact. Maybe you can split them like that. But on to Jaylen Brown though. So you lose Kawhi Leonard, who's a 6'8" Wade, right? Great defender, right? We all know Kawhi, great player, great defender. He's always, he's been injured, but he's healthy. He went through camp fine. And you pick Derek White over Jaylen Brown, who's 6'7", athletic, is coming off a finals MVP, had a hell of a finals series, a two-way player at the prime of his career right now. And you took Derek White, who's a good player, but another 6'3" guard that you already have. And I really don't know what Derek White's really going to bring to this team other than Kawhi to replace Kawhi because you replace him for Kawhi Leonard. I don't get it, but we all know why, right? I think if you really look into this, why Jaylen Brown didn't get selected, and Jaylen Brown tweeted about it. He put, you see that little investigative eyeglass. Then he tweeted at Nike, and he said, "Nike, this is what we doing." And so, if you don't know the backstory, the back history behind Jaylen Brown and Nike, I pulled it up right here. When Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown's former teammate on the Celtics, who they're still good friends, got Nike basically kicked Kyrie out because of Kyrie's beliefs and stances on things. Right? Nike thought it was a little too hot, so they had to get rid of him. Jaylen Brown tweeted. You can see there in the main tweet, it was Nike founder Phil Knight says Kyrie Irving, quote, stepped over the line when the Nets player shared an anti-Semitic film on Twitter. Irving's annual endorsement earnings from Nike worth at least $11 million before the company cuts ties. So they cut ties with Kyrie. Jaylen Brown then quoted the tweet and put, "Since when did Nike care about ethics?" And I think we all know what Jaylen Brown's referring to there. Obviously, people know Nike, where their shoes are made, how they're made, and a lot of people have always criticized Nike for their ties to China and a lot of the way work labor is with them over there, and they try to act all like they care about things here in America and all this. They do all these ads and promote all these agendas and stuff. But Jaylen Brown says, "Well, when do you care about ethics?" When they cut Kyrie Irving. So now, and then Stephen A. Smith has went on TV on First Take and said that people behind the scenes really don't like Jaylen Brown and he's not an approach, or it's basically said like almost like he's guys don't like being around him, almost like the same treatment Isaiah Thomas got when the Dream Team thing happened, right? They said people didn't like Isaiah because of how the bad boy Pistons played. Players on the team didn't want him. Now, I know obviously Jordan and Pippen didn't want him on the team, and I don't think Bird did either. But we all know Isaiah should have been on the team. I mean, I get now that they make him. Was it a horrendous mistake? No, still 11 first ballot Hall of Famers on the Dream Team, and they were the greatest team ever assembled, and they did what they were supposed to do. And so, but again, he probably should have. He should have been on the team. And so, but again, I think Jaylen Brown is getting some of that same treatment. Isaiah Thomas, his whole career, not only by his play, but he's always been an outspoken guy. I respect Isaiah Thomas. He's been an outspoken guy. He's the president of the Players Association. He's always kind of gone against the grain if you looked at a lot of stuff he said. And I think Jaylen Brown, when he put that tweet out, this is in 2022, obviously he probably pissed Nike off because Nike's thinking, that makes us look bad, or you're accusing us of something, and who the hell do you think you are? And now you look at who runs Team USA. It's heavily influenced by Nike, right? Nike's a global corporation, global brand, and this is Team USA going on a global stage. And so people are wondering, is Jaylen Brown getting punished, basically, right? Why is Stephen A going on First Take saying those things? Why is Derek White getting picked over Jaylen Brown, right? And it just doesn't make any sense that this guy, he's arguably had one of the best. I mean, he had one of the best finals. Well, he won the Finals MVP, so he had the best Finals performance to some people. Um, Hello, we were watching the car. Hello, mom. Uh, but he had the best Finals performance. He won MVP, right? So some people think Jay Stan, but Jaylen Brown pretty damn good. He had a great playoff, had a great season. He's at the top of his career right now, like I said. There's no reason to justify him not getting on the team with who he is, the kind of player he is. Uh, there's no justification for it. Now he is an Adidas guy as well, so or he had a deal with Adidas for the first 5 years of his career. He's actually not signed with a brand right now. So I just looked it up. So Jaylen Brown used to be with Adidas for 5 years. So he was with the rival of Nike. Now he's not branded. He's not with the company. And so Nike, who runs Team USA, like I said, it seems like there's something going on here. There's no reason why this guy should have been left off of Team USA. And it just really makes you wonder. You see who's running Nike now, or you see who runs Team USA heavily now. It seems like they're calling the shots. You listen to Grant Hill, Mr. Duke the other day talk about I don't make decisions with stuff like that. And when they talk about, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese not making the women's team, and he's sitting there, well, we still got a pretty good team, like, but I had no involvement with that. And then he's sitting there, trying to justify not picking Jaylen Brown. And it's just like, it was so obvious. It was like, dude, like we get it. Like you don't got to try to act like it was like we just, we really picked this guy and because we think he's the best fit for the team. Like, okay, cut the shit. We know that's not what's going on. We know why Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown, I give Jaylen Brown props for putting this tweet out the other day because what he did was he really just exposed. Everybody knows what's going on. It's obvious. We know why he didn't get selected to Team USA. And so he said, you know what? Fine, two can play this game. And so I'll just put you on the spot and people are going to know what I'm referencing to. And like I said, when you go back to 2022, when he put that tweet out about when Kyrie got cut from Nike, and he says, since when did Nike care about ethics? So there seems to be a target on Jaylen Brown, right? Stephen A. Smith's constantly going at him, kind of unfairly. And there's no reason to justify all the criticism on it, too, because his play, he's the NBA champion of the world right now. He's an MVP. His play says otherwise. This dude's one of the top performers in the NBA. Jaylen Brown right now is probably a top, I don't know, 15, 20 player in the world right now. I don't know. That's pretty damn good for 450 plus players in the league. He's a perennial all-star. His team's been the best in the league. He's the champion. He's the MVP of the finals. What more can this guy do? There just seems to be a personal gripe. and why is ESPN, like Stephen A. and all these guys going on and putting these narratives out on him? Right. And then he gets snubbed from Team USA. It just doesn't make any sense. And so, and whether you agree with what, Jaylen Brown's made his opinion about things in the past about, like political stuff and stuff like that. Maybe I didn't agree with some. Maybe some people out there don't agree with some of what he said in the past. But what's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. If somebody should have got gypped, he got gypped. Doesn't matter what you think about the person personally or, what his views are. None of that stuff matters anyways at the end of the day. We need to stop focusing less on that stuff. But in my opinion, more about the people and who they really are. But you're seeing who people really are right here in this situation and who really runs things, right? And it kind of transitions into my next point, my last thing with Bronny James, right? And Bronny James had his first summer league game, official summer league game in Vegas tonight. He was in the California Classic, and in those games he was okay. He had a couple good plays here and there, but overall he hasn't really done Bronny hasn't really done a whole lot in the summer league, right? And there's been a lot of crazy stuff online. Um, Number one, I want to clarify. I'm not. This isn't a criticism of Bronny or pushing narratives on Bronny. I actually root for Bronny. I like Bronny. I said on the show when I remember when I was a little kid, Bronny and I hung out one time at Patterson Park in Akron. I know some people and his aunt, who was a great, nice lady, and met her that night, and she's still friends with people close to me, and um, I root for Bronny. I've always liked Bronny, and I've always had some sympathy for Bronny because of who he is. He was born into this. He didn't really ask for this in a way. I don't think. Sometimes I really wonder if this is what he really wants to do deep down inside. Like he has other stuff he can do. He already has a deal with with the streaming. He's already made major money off the court elsewhere. So, but he says he wants to do this. I think we know his dad wanted him to do this as well because I think it's the Ken Griffey Jr. Senior thing, and that's what we have now, right? LeBron's been talking about this for 6 years now. Since 2018 was the first time he brought it up. And so Bronny, though, tonight, 0 of 8 from 3. He looked good in the first quarter. The first quarter he looked really good. I thought he had some nice plays. And, I was listening to my man Ticket TV. A lot of us thought, like, man, he might have a good night tonight. The gym was packed in Vegas. It was primetime game there. But then as the game went on, you just kind of what you see with Bronny now is just, which is what I've said about him for the last month, is his confidence, right? His confidence in himself, not in his game even. I think his confidence in just himself right now seems low. And he was asked about it at the combine. You go back at the combine when they interviewed him, they asked him, they said, hey, obviously had the incident last year, which obviously set him back. That's a mental hurdle in itself. Did that, along with the pressure that's already there and who you are and who do people expect you to be, and the things, his dad was the same guy back in 2023. His dad said Bronny was better than most of the guys in the league right now. He put that tweet out. His dad said it. So that was out in the air now. People are looking at him differently now. With all that, and they asked him about it. He's like, yeah, they didn't ask about the tweet, but they asked him more about the incident last year and how's that been like a mental hurdle. And, he said, yeah, it's been a mental hurdle trying to get his game back, his confidence back. So I think he's had that going against him, and I kind of understand that just as somebody went through an anxiety disorder. And, I didn't leave my house for a period of times when I was back in my dark days. And it is a mental hurdle when you try to get back doing things again because you just either, well, Bronny was probably scared, of what happened or, just trying to mentally get back to normalcy again. And just, his world stopped, and so I understand that what he was coming from. And I hope he is doing better in that area because I feel bad for him in that area because like I said, I understand. He watches this channel and the show. My main focus on this show is mental health and spiritual health and the things that I went through in my past, right? And I've shared my story many times in the show. But I look at Bronny right now. It's just he looks hesitant when he plays, right? He looks hesitant. He's not shooting the ball confidently. He looks very confused out there. Just very, his confidence just seems lost. And I think a lot of it though is just kind of like going back to like what I was saying earlier about Sketch. What I was saying about Jaylen, you see how the people, you see kind of the agenda seems to be pushed against Jaylen Brown. I think Bronny kind of has like a mix of both. And I don't think he has an agenda against him. I just think it's the way they're promoting him and the way they're constantly talking about him. Even during the games, when he makes a play, the announcers have to be like, "Oh, there we go. That's nice." Like they're just almost like clapping for him, like he's like a, like he don't. They're almost acting like he doesn't deserve to be out there, and like, oh, he made a like almost like they went and pulled somebody from the stands and was like, "Man, this guy made a play. There you go." And like they're out there cheering him on. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't. All of this just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem organic. It just doesn't seem healthy. But at the end of the day, it's not good for him. I don't care. Forget who his dad is. I don't care about his dad in this situation. I know, or the Lakers or ESPN and what they want for the ratings and what LeBron fans want him to be because it's his. They like his dad, so they automatically root for him and what I mean, and do all these crazy. It's just like I think he's just in a world right now where he just can't find his groove. He can't find his uh, that confidence because he's being pushed in so many directions. Right? They're talking about him. He's a 55th overall pick. And when you go back and listen to him at the combine, I think what he was really trying to tell people was like, listen, I know who I am. I want to be like a Drew Holiday. I want to be like a Derek White. I want to be like a Davion Mitchell. Right. And those guys aren't like superstar players, but they're really good players. They know their roles. And I think the kid was pretty much telling you back then, like, listen, I don't want all this. Like, I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. Like, I think that's what he's really trying to push. I think that's what he wants to be normal. Like, judge me like you judge every other 55th overall pick. I get who my name is, and he understands that. But it's like, but also at the same time, though, his college teammate Boogie Ellis, who averaged 16 points a game, didn't get drafted, but Bronny did. And so, people could say, did Bronny really get justified? Was he to be taken 55th overall? You know what I mean? If people say it's nepotism, I'd say it's more of collusion because it was obvious. I mean, calling around that day of the day of his draft and telling other teams, if you take Bronny, unless you're the Lakers, he'll go play in Australia. That's collusion. That's forcing what we want. That's not nepotism. That's collusion. And so, but again, he's the one, though, that has to really take the brunt of all this. And when you watch him play, I feel bad for him. Because I just feel I don't think he's ever going to become what people want him to be if it stays this way, because there's so much pressure on him. He's already got his own stuff he's dealing with from last year, and he even said, like I brought up earlier, mentally recovering from that, right? And every game now that he keeps shooting bad, the people online, everybody could be on see, they'd be like, see, and he sees all this stuff. He knows he sees. We all know he sees it, right? Uh, but he's just there's too much pressure on this kid. And I think that when you watch him play, um, Tune In Sports One says Brian will be a good role player. Nobody should expect him to be a star. I think he could be a good role player. It's going to take time, but I agree with you. That's my point. Nobody should expect him to be a star. You know what I mean? No, and thanks for commenting in Tuning One. Nice to see you again. Or Tune In Sports One. Shout out to you. Yeah, nobody should expect him to be a star, but I think they're treating him as if he is a star, right? And that's only putting more of a bullseye on his back. And so the more games he has where he's struggling, because there's a lot, like I said, there's so much this kid's going through right now. Who his dad is. He's Bronny James Jr. He was taken 55th overall, so people don't think he should have. JJ Redick was up there talking about him like he's going to be a good role player for their team. His dad said he was 2 years ago better, or a year ago said he was better than most players in the NBA. A lot of guys, he said in his tweet. Go look it up. He had the incident last year, which he said he's mentally still trying to get back, to recovering from. That's like a mental hurdle in itself, probably the biggest one he's going through. And he's got to perform at a high level. So this kid's got so much. And then every single day, it's Bronny on ESPN. They're pushing, ESPN's promoting him. Yeah, I mean, there's just all this stuff every single day. And where's this kid ever going to catch a break? He's not really set up to succeed. I just don't think he's in a position to succeed in LA right now with his dad there hovering over him. And I just don't, like I said, I think he has the capabilities, like Tune In Sports One said, to be a good role player. I think he has the athleticism. He's 6'3", right? We've seen him shoot the ball well at times. He seems to have good defensive habits, playing the passing lanes. He's athletic, right? He can pass a little bit, I'm sure. But he can play off the ball and cut. He had a nice cut tonight. But I just don't think this kid's in a good position to succeed. But the Lakers, though, are making it pretty clear what their goal is this year, right? And it's all the Bronny James, LeBron thing. Because they struck out on DeMar DeRozan. They struck out on all the top free agents. Klay Thompson, his dad, works for the organization. Klay was like, nah, I'm good. And he said, nah, I'm good. Right? I'm going to Dallas. DeMar DeRozan from Compton went to Sacramento. That's like anybody from, I'm not from California or anything, but anybody from like JB said today, he's from Compton. Shout out to Coach JB. That's like crazy to think that somebody from Compton would go to Sacramento before they go home and play for the Lakers. But it's that bad. Nobody wants to be part of this because they all know what the goal is this year. The goal is this year, it's just all about Bronny And LeBron, it's like I said in the past, it's the whole thing was a sham. LeBron was never going to take a pay cut. It was all about for them saving money in the tax, like I said, and that came out. He took a little less this for this season so they could save money in the tax, but he's still going to get his money. And eventually, in 2 years, you saw what LeBron said the other day, or today, came out. They asked him he's going to be playing in the Olympics in 2028. And if you go back to what I said on my show 2 weeks ago, and I played that clip from what I said back in January, and Carcino for Life said this too on YouTube. Shout out to Cino. LeBron's not going to be in LA in 2 years. He's going to be his last season will be in Vegas when he owns that team. He's going to be owner of that team. They already have it all set up. It's going to be he's partnered with Fenway Sports Management Group, and there's another company as well he's partnered with. Starts with a R, Red something, and they're gonna purchase the Vegas team. Kevin Durant's going to be purchasing the Seattle team, and LeBron in 2 years he'll be in Vegas. And that'll be his last season with both of his sons. Right? And LeBron said it today. They asked him, "Are you playing in the 2028 Olympics?" He said, "No, I'm getting the hell out of that city." He said, "Because the Olympics are going to be in LA in 2028." He said, "I'm getting the hell out of that city." He said that on purpose. He knows where he's going to be in 2 years. He's going to be his last season will be on that team. He'll play one more year in LA after he'll play this year, next year in LA, and his last season will be in Vegas. It's been the plan all along. KD will be in Seattle by then. He'll be on that team eventually and finish his career there and take ownership of that team or part of it. He'll have a good majority ownership in it. And so that's the whole thing. But again, LeBron was never going to take a pay cut. And so Jeannie Buss, though, is not the richest of owners. She has to make a lot of money. She lost $6 million from the she lost $6 million because of the Russell Westbrook experiment, which LeBron wanted Russell, and she did it. She had to pay $6 million out of her own pocket to clean that up. Right. And if they don't make the playoffs in LA, they lose so much money. It is a rough time for them if they don't make the playoffs because they need the revenue. So they make the playoffs and make the play-in. It's a success for them. That's their bottom line now. It ain't about championships anymore for LA. It used to be about the Lakers supposed to be championships, right? Championship or bust. But where they are right now with LeBron at his age, it's all about just profiting the money. League will put money in the Lakers because of who's on the team, right? That's all it's about. It's everything I said 2 weeks ago in that live. But again, look at all that, right? Is LeBron really, or is Bronny really in a good situation to grow as a player? No, he's being used, right? He's kind of being used in a way, and now he's going to get paid. He's not like I don't think he's a victim or anything, but he's making money. He's given opportunity. But again, it's all about that's their whole goal this year. It's just promoting Bronny and making as much money off of this thing as they can. That's why Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. be sitting there courtside game one, like they said, and by midseason, I'm telling you, they're going to find a way to get him as a starting point guard for the Lakers at one point next season. I'm telling you, I just don't buy he's going to be in the G League. He's the only 55th overall pick I've ever heard of that got a 4-year guaranteed deal. It just doesn't happen. Like they put their money in stock and they're going to milk the last 2 years they got at this LeBron James LA Hollywood experiment. They're going to milk all of that this year, next year before he leaves for Vegas his last season. They're going to milk every dollar out of it, right? That's what Jeannie Buss is going to do. She's all about just get as much money as out as I can. People are going to watch. People are tuning in. People are talking about it every single day, right? But again, when I look at Bronny the player, when I watch him play, his confidence just doesn't seem to be there. I just don't think I don't know if he's in a good situation to ever find it again. There's just so much on him, and they're going to put him out. And the more he's put out there in situations he's really not ready to be in, and he doesn't play well mentally, the more mentally that'll hurt him, right? Because he'll start to doubt himself. He'll start to say, "Man, I'm not good enough to be here," right? And he'll start to feel more of that pressure. It's almost like he'll be carrying a burden because of what his last name is, and that's not fair to him, and that's not. But again, I don't know how can you ever expect him to really grow and succeed, and all these people online that are really like expecting him at one point to become this guy. I just think you got to look at the situation, guys. You got to look at the situation he's in and all that's being put on him, all the stuff around him. He's kind of in a toxic. He walked into a toxic environment in LA. I just don't see where he really grows in that situation, right? And maybe when they go to Vegas, I do think he'll be in Vegas with his dad, with his brother as well, Bryce. Maybe when he plays his brother again in Vegas, maybe that's when he'll start to grow and maybe take off as a player, gets up a new situation by then. Maybe his dad will run the organization. I think by then it'll be less pressure. But it's a lot on him, man. Um, a lot of people are judging him because of his dad, and it's not fair to criticize. It's not all fair criticism because people hate Braun. They will deny it, but it's true. Yeah, I agree. I do think people are going to hate him because they don't like his dad, and I think that's unfair. You should separate him from his dad. But I also understand why people are also pissed off, or not say pissed off, but criticize him because it's his dad has kind of made it this way. You know what I mean? His dad is. That's why I said it wasn't nepotism. People say nepotism. It was collusion. How they acted on draft night, calling teams and saying, "You take him, we'll send him to Australia and all this," forcing him to the Lakers, taking a 55th overall, and everybody and their mom knew it. You know what I mean? How they're trying to portray him and this role and everything, and how the ESPN, everybody's promoting him. They're not helping. They're not doing him any favors. And so, but they're also making it a bigger. They're putting the bullseye on his back. The people around him are failing him. They're not really helping him, and that's why I said I think he's in a toxic situation. I don't know how he can grow. I don't know how he can really find himself. It's gonna be really interesting to see. I hope it doesn't end in a bad way. Um, Russ was a waste of a trade just to be scapegoated. Yeah, Russ got the Russ definitely got the short end of the stick. I think Carmelo did too. You may go back that year too. Carmelo was balling off the bench. They shit on Melo. They shit on him. Frank Vogel was with a championship coach. They ran him out of town. It was like everything went downhill. They won the bubble championship and they got rid of the whole team. They said, we don't want it. We'll just change everything. We're bringing Russell Westbrook. Right. They could have had DeMar back then. So yeah, Russ definitely got scapegoated for sure. They blamed it all on Russ, and then Russ goes and revitalizes his career again, finds a role on the Clippers, and does okay. Does pretty well. Uh, the plan should be developing him in the G League. He needs it, but yeah, he will definitely get some reps with his dad his first game. Oh yeah, for sure. That's the plan. That's all this is about. That's why I said I don't know if he's in a good. I don't think that there's people around him that really care about him. It's more about putting money in their pockets and getting people watching the games, right? And they're going to throw him out there when he's not ready. He's going to go up against a Drew Holiday on a Thursday night on TNT in the middle of the season, and they're going to put him out there, and it's not going to go well because he's not ready. But how can he become ready when he's in this situation in LA? I think he's in a toxic situation. You know what I mean? It's all for the wrong reasons. That's why. It's all for the money. It's all just a genie bus trying to milk every dollar out of it. His dad's put this bulls on his back saying he's better than all these other NBA players 3 years ago and putting that tweet out. And like he said, yeah, Rich Paul's on some mob stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's been a mob, this whole thing. I mean, you Clutch Sports, when they want something, they get it. Ain't no doubt about it. When they want something, they get it. And yeah, it's funny too. There's like a rumor that came out yesterday as well. That I guess the league meetings, some stuff leaked out that now in the next soon it'll be coming out. They're talking about putting a rule in place where there's like an age gap, an age cap, putting a cap on how long you could play till, right? And it's like, oh, now all of a sudden you're going to put that in. So when LeBron's gone, then you're going to put it in. We'll let LeBron play however long he wants to, but everybody else, you got an age limit. And so that'll be coming out soon. That was leaked out yesterday, and Carcino talked about it on his page. And usually when he puts something out from the league stuff, it usually comes to fruition. So, but yeah, I just don't think this kid's in the right situation. I just don't think people are going to criticize when he doesn't play well, and they're going to say this kid, see, he didn't deserve to be 55th overall pick. And then on the other hand, people are going to say, well, they're going to keep promoting him like he's like, yeah, I mean, Lil Wayne said on Undisputed today, he goes, I think Bronny could be an all-star. And Paul Pierce looked at him like, motherfucker, are you serious? Like, I think Paul Pierce almost fell out of his damn chair. I mean, Paul Pierce looked at him like, bruh, are you out of your mind? But this is the shit people are saying on this kid. They're putting this on his name constantly. And so, and it's just nuts. I mean, Lil Wayne literally said it like, I think Bronny James could be an all-star. Maybe he was high when he was up there. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating. But that's like, dude, people are acting like this kid's gonna be the next. It's like my man Tune in Sports once said. People act like this kid's gonna be a star. I mean, I get his name's a star, but as a player, a basketball player, like, whoa, calm down. Like, and the beefs online. If you criticize Bronny online, some of the people who are really just Bron fans, diehard LeBron fans, I mean, they are going ballistic on some of these people. I mean, they're and my man Kwame Brown, they're attacking him. They're attacking Tick. I mean, they're attacking all kinds of people. I mean, they are just like coming in hard. And I'm like, you're only making it worse on Bronny. Like he's not. You're only making the bullseye bigger on his back. You can't create tension and expect somebody to thrive in that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. I don't see how that works. So LeBron could be the oldest player in NBA history. Shaking my head. I hope that's just a rumor. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, man. Though I mean, it's probably right. I'm just telling you. I think it's gonna happen. I mean, this is from the same source that said they were going to expand the draft a year and a half ago for the Bronny draft, and you saw what happened. They expanded it to a 2-day event. So, yeah, they're probably going to put a cap on it because, and I think they kind of have to now because I think a lot of these guys, the way the game's played nowadays, the less physicality, the science of guys taking care of their bodies are a lot better than it's ever been. Guys can play longer now. Like, I didn't know the other night. I was sitting there with my mom and dad. We were sitting there, my parents, we were watching the game. And my mom was like, because we've been watching Steph Curry since the last 10 years because we were Cavs fans. So obviously we watched him, the rivalry we had with him at that time. And we're like, how old Steph Curry? I didn't know he was 36 years old. Like these guys are, I didn't know, I thought Steph was like 32. He's 36 years old and still balling, like playing at a high level. Like he could probably play till he's, and the way his style of game is, I mean, his shooting, he can probably play till he's at least 40 at least. And he looks like it. But I don't think he will because I think the franchise, that Warriors franchise, is starting. They're going to go downhill now because all the guys are leaving. But it's like, I don't know who's the oldest player to play. Vince Carter, I think so. Let me Google it real quick. Tune in sports. Let me Google it. Who is the oldest player ever in NBA history? That's a good quote. We know LeBron's going to break the record. I think it is Vince Carter. Is it Vince? Oh no, Nat Hickey. Yeah, NAT. Nat Hickey is his name. He's the oldest player to ever play in the NBA, playing one game in 1947 at the age of 45. Oh, he's the oldest by age. No, that's not what I want to. Who played the most? I should type this better. Who played the most seasons in NBA history? But a 45-year-old played back then? Damn, that was that bad, the player pool? What JJ Redick said, they had plumbers. I don't know if I go that far. I would disrespect some of those guys could actually play, but I would disrespect them like that. Who played the most seasons? Come on, phone. In NBA history. It was Vince Carter, 22 seasons. Yeah, you're right. Which he achieved in 2019, 2020. So, yeah, Vince Carter played 22 seasons. Yeah, you're right. It was Vince at 42. So, yeah. So, Vince played to 42. LeBron's about to play till he's, let's see, 25. Let's see, 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28. I think LeBron's playing at least probably 3 more years. So that'll put him at what, 25 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Is he about to go into year 22? Yeah, so LeBron will be at 24, 25 years. So he'll break Vince's record next season. So that'll be 2 guys already in the last, in this decade, in the 20th century. So, I mean, in the 2020s. So they're gonna probably gonna put a cap on the age limit. That's what it sounds like. The rumor is they're gonna put a cap on it, and because I think you're gonna, like I said, I didn't know Steph was 36 years old, and this dude he could play until he's 40 at least. Will he? I don't think he will because I don't think he's gonna have a window to compete again. Because I think they're kind of moving. Unless I wouldn't rule out Golden State. Unless maybe they can get like a big trade somehow, Braxley next season or next off season, but they're probably on the downtrend now. But yeah, they're going to put a cap on it. But it's kind of funny though they didn't. like you said earlier, Rich Paul's on some mob stuff. It's kind of funny. You know, they're putting the rule in now once LeBron's gone. So, because he's only going to play about 2-3 more years. I think he plays. I'll say 3. Like I said, I think he plays this upcoming season, one more year after that in LA, like his contract is, and then I think he plays one season with both of his sons in Vegas on the Vegas team, and they've already talked about it. I mean, it's already been and they've already had it all set up, and that's where Bronny will be with his brother in Vegas, and LeBron will own the team. If you look at, I'll put it up on the screen right here. I'll Google it. Right here, LeBron James buying Vegas team, right? And he hinted at it again back in. He's partnered with Fenway Sports Group. He already has like part ownership of the Red Sox, believe it or not. If you don't know that, partners. Actually, let me type this in: Fenway Sports Group, Vegas team. And so, yeah, he's partnered with Fenway Sports Group, and he's had another one. I can't remember what the name it was. It was like started with an R or something like Red Eye or Red Hawk or something like. I can't remember what it was. But that's what he's partnered with, and he's going to get that team, and that's what they'll play. And so, I think maybe once Bronny gets to Vegas in 2 years, maybe that's when he can really start to thrive as a player. Because I think number one, getting out of that Lakers uniform. You got to remember too, people are forgetting this as well. This is another element I totally forgot to throw in, which he's got to deal with out in LA where he lives. Is you have a lot of Lakers fans who are the longtime Lakers fans that can't stand LeBron, that want LeBron gone, right? They want they want LeBron gone, and they don't want him there anymore. They hate the way they're franchise. They think LeBron sabotaged the franchise, and so now they're going to throw Bronny in that mix too. So anything Bronny does, the people out, a lot of those diehard Lakers fans, like the true Lakers fans out there, they're going to be coming at him, and so that's another element. He might get booed in his own stadium. I'm telling you, watch. If this kid goes out there and shoots an 0 for 5 in the middle of the season, they will boo him. They booed his dad the night. Go back to LeBron's first season in LA when he passed Michael Jordan that night. Earlier in that game, they booed him in the stadium. Like he wasn't playing well. They were losing, and they were having a shitty year. The season was already going to hell, and they booed him the night he passed Jordan. Those fans out there, they don't care. It's about the name on the chest. And yeah, a lot of them Kobe fans too. I mean, Kobe is the Lakers. Him and Magic. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're compared to Kobe. You're in his prime. You're compared to Magic, Kareem, Shaq, all the greats that went through there. Right, they got LeBron on the tail end of his career. You know what I mean? It was not like this. Not like they got LeBron and from 2000, 2003 basically all the way to 2018. They didn't get that LeBron, right, when he was at his peak in those years. But I kept trying to tell people he wasn't coming back to the Cavs. Like it's over. Yeah, I originally said back in January, and I played the clip again recently, that I said he was going to stay at LA, go to Vegas in 2 years. And I'll be honest though, when he showed up to the Cavs game in May, for a month of my show, all the way up until the draft, basically, we covered it a lot. I covered it at length, and I thought maybe there was a chance he'd come back. Right, one of his best friends was the assistant GM of the team, Braden Weems. I'm like, maybe they'll take his son because of who he has connections with the Cavs. I thought Bronny would actually be in a better situation in Cleveland because it's kind of less pressure in some way, although it'd still be there regardless because he got drafted. But yeah, I don't know. I was a little hopeful. I thought maybe when he showed up to the game, but clearly LeBron showed up to the game just to maybe have a good time that night and to also send a message to the Lakers. That's all he was doing. LeBron did hold the league hostage for the month leading up to the draft. He had the league hostage for sure. And it was all again, that's why I said you can't say it's nepotism. It was collusion. It was all to get the outcome they wanted. And that's why why else would you call the day of the draft and tell all the other teams, don't take him where he's going to Australia, right? And it's like you say, LeBron is very strategic. Yes, he is. I've followed LeBron my whole life from Akron. I'm from Akron as well, born and raised, and have followed him very closely. Everything he does is very strategic, right? He told you, and a lot of what I unpacked in those years and in that month when I was talking about that leading up to the draft was a lot of what I showed was LeBron's past. When he left Cleveland to go to Miami, he was strategic about it. He gave signs. When he left Miami to go back to Cleveland 2 years in advance, he gave signs what he was going to do. Right when he left Cleveland to go to LA, everybody knew a year in advance he was going to LA. Right, and now he's doing it now. He's telling you now. He told you I'm gonna play with my son one day. He did that, and he got it done. Right, he tells you what he's gonna do years in advance. Just like the comment he made today. I'm not gonna. Basically, what he said was, I'm not gonna be in LA in 2028 because he isn't. He'll be in Vegas. He'll be owning that team with both of his sons. He's telling you what he's gonna do in advance. He's always done that, and so he is very strategic at everything he does. He's always been like that. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Bronny so far in the summer league? And do you guys think Bronny in the Lakers, as long as he's an LA Laker, do you think he can become a good role player? Because I don't. I don't think in LA he's ever going to be able to thrive because I think there's just too much going on around him that I don't think he's ever going to find that confidence. When I watch him, he just doesn't seem very confident. He seems like he's second guessing himself. He's doubting himself on the court. He just, he doesn't use his athleticism that he has to attack the basket. I mean, he shows it in spurts. And I get it's only a couple games and he's learning the NBA game but I just feel like I don't know. I just don't know if he's in a right situation to get it done. The comments he made at the All-Star game in Cleveland gave fans all hope too. Yeah, it did. And that was also just to put pressure on the Lakers. Because remember that time the Lakers were having a terrible season. That was that season we were talking about earlier when they had Melo and Westbrook, and they didn't make the playoffs that year, and it was that bad. I remember he was trying to push him to do the trades. I remember that season too. Remember the night before the trade deadline, him and AD sat out of that game against Portland, right? And because they were basically down, it was like a silent protest, and the Lakers didn't do it. They didn't make any trades, and so I think LeBron, like you said, he's very strategic. I think he makes those kind of like subliminal threats through the media and says, yeah, I'll do this and yeah, I'll do that. But it's really just to put pressure on the Lakers because I remember too, when he got back from the All-Star break after that All-Star break in Cleveland, they had like an emergency meeting. It was reported in LA. They were kind of pissed about that. The Lakers were what he was saying that weekend. That's why he came out after, was like, I'm committed to LA. And, he had to come out and kind of clean it up a little bit. But, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's all strategic. Everything he used the Cleveland thing just to kind of get what he wanted in LA, and it worked. You got to give him credit in some way. These guys, they have taken over the LA Lakers. It is not the same old LA Lakers anymore. I mean, point blank, period. They are not the LA Lakers anymore. They are not. Their standard is not championships anymore. It's not any of that, right? And so I don't. I'm gonna put the link in the chat real quick for a couple minutes. If anyone wants to come up here and maybe share their thoughts, link is in the chat if you want to join. But if Bronny isn't Bronny, he doesn't get drafted. Yeah, I mean, people have speculated that. I mean, I think that's why I said you can't say it's nepotism, Lynch. I say it's collusion, calling and telling other teams if you don't, you know what I mean. And the Lakers had to take it. If they didn't take Bronny at 55. After all the hype to that pick, having a 2-day event, a special day for it on TV, could you imagine they would have took Boogie Ellis at 55 instead of Bronny? I mean, it would have been the biggest debacle you've ever seen. They would have been on TV crying. People would have been like, this is terrible. I mean, it would have been like awful. They are the LeBron James Lakers. Yeah, that's what they are. Clutch Sports runs it. Rob Pelinka, I don't know what he does now. He's just there. He's just there with his little, all that man of Rob Pelinka. That's who's up there running the Lakers. I mean, just oh boy. Every time I listen to Rob Pelinka talk and he's up there, I'm just like, what in the hell is going on here? Right. Nothing against Rob, but I'm just saying. It's just when I think of Rob Pelinka, all I think about is that terrible shot he shot in the national championship game. People forget he was on the Fab Five Michigan team. Remember in that game against Duke, he shot one of the worst 3-point attempt shots you've ever seen in your life. And I wasn't even born. And I went back and saw it, and I was just like, dude, that's all this guy is known for, is taking the shittiest 3-point shot I've ever seen in a live game. I mean, it was bad. And when he missed that shot, everything just went down. Then C-Web called timeout. It just all went down the hill. LeBron is player, coach, GM. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, why? Who else would have hired JJ Redick? You know what I mean? Like, who else would have took JJ Redick or hired him? Nobody would have. Nobody else would have hired him but the Lakers because of LeBron runs it. He runs it. They run everything now, and it's going to be. And Jeannie Buss don't care. She's making all this money off of it. She's like, the hell, don't put money in my pocket. GD bust down. She's making all kinds of money from that. I mean, I'm just saying, go look at her past. I'm just it's that she put go on Reddit after this live and go look at some of the old tweets Jeannie Buss put out in 2009 and 10 about certain players. It's kind of weird. Like the Kevin Love, she said I saw Kevin Love for the first time today and he might replace so and so as the cutest player in the NBA. And I'm like, whoa, this is who runs the Lakers. This is the owner of the Lakers now. I mean, it's chaos. I mean, go look at what Bronny got drafted. Everybody was sitting there clapping it up and like, yay! And then you can look over at Kurt Rambis, and he just looked like, what the fuck? Like he was just like, he gave the most somber clap I've ever seen in my life. Because Kurt Rambis and his wife, they used to be more higher ups. They used to have like more, I think, power. And that's kind of I think that's like a lesser role from what I remember, like recent years. And I don't think them and LeBron really get along. That's kind of like known. So, yeah, Jeannie is a super freak. Yeah, no, ain't no doubt about it. She's the only owner I've ever seen have a picture of herself up there from her. It was like that magazine cover she did with nothing on, and the basketball's over her. You know what? And it's just like, oh boy, this is who runs the Lakers now. The Lakers are the Suns that could have took Bronny. Yeah, I don't think the Suns were ever really a threat. I don't think they ever really were going to take it. To be honest with you, I think it was more just James Jones is doing a courtesy to his boy. You know, but. And it made it look interesting, like there was other teams involved. Remember, Rich Paul said too, like we got other teams involved. We got Minnesota and Toronto and all these guys, and Bronny just wants to hear his name get drafted. And then you're at the day of, you're calling teams and telling them, don't draft him or his ass is going to Australia. Got it? Like what? It's not nepotism, it's collusion. But again, Bronny James is the one I don't see how is he ever going to thrive in this situation. He's in a bad situation. That's why we said on the show that month leading up to the draft, I said the best place for him to go is it probably is a place like Cleveland where it's low expectations, right away from his dad, even if he has to. But no, put him in LA in that big market with that name on that brand on his chest with the Lakers across his jersey. And with that fan base who already doesn't like his dad, a lot of them, they're all like my man said, they're all a lot of them are Kobe fans. You know, Kobe Mafia, they are not down with this. And so if I'm a Lakers fan too, like Lynch, you and I are both Ohio State Buckeyes fan. That's probably out of all the teams we root for, that's probably the most like prestigious team right? They got all the championships. If shit like this was going on in the Ohio State Buckeye football team, Lynch, you and I both know what would be happening right now down in Columbus. It'd be pitchforks. I mean, it'd be all hell would be breaking. It'd be riots. It'd be everything. I mean, it would be all bad. Yeah, Brian would be playing in the EuroLeague in 4 years. Yeah. I mean, I hope he works out for him, but I just in this situation, playing for Red Star in Serbia, maybe. Man, Brian be playing in Serbia. Damn. Whew. It's crazy. But you got people like Lil Wayne, though. Brian's going to be an all-star, he said. Man, I thought Paul Pierce was going to like shake him up. Like, well, hold on. You all right, dude? Like, you okay over there? Like, grab his drink. Like, what's in that cup? Like, he's going to be an all-star? You're putting that in the air now? And then they get mad at Kendrick Perkins because Kendrick Perkins said it like it was. Lena, remember what Perkins said? Big Daddy Perk, what he said 3 weeks for the draft? Like, he goes, I get who his name, I get he's LeBron's son and everything, but why are we talking about this kid like he's like going to be the first overall pick in the draft? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? I think what Perk was really saying, like, give the kid some space to grow. Treat him like how he's getting selected. That's actually best for him.
But no. Nope. Got to treat him like he's number one overall pick. Red Star had a player drafted in the top 20 this year. Really? Who was it? I didn't really know anybody in this draft this year. I'll be honest with you. This was the one draft I didn't really know anybody. Like I didn't cover it. I didn't look into it. I didn't know who the number one pick was. Like when they drafted number one pick, I was not interested. Like I think the homeboy played tonight too. I knew who like Reed Shepard was, and he was a bad dude. I watched him tonight. Reed Shepard to be a hell of a player in this league. That Houston's got a nice little team going. Uh, him, I like Terrence Shannon Jr. He had the stuff off the court, but then he got found it was all BS. But Minnesota, I think, had the best draft of anybody. They got the dude from Kentucky, the backup point guard, and they got Terrence Shannon, who lit it up tonight, dunking on people. 20, I think he had 25 tonight. 6'6", 6'7", could play both ways. Minnesota is going to be scary good. Just they got better through the draft. They're the one team that's like they're a playoff team that almost went to the conference, or did they go to the conference finals? Yeah, right, almost to the NBA finals basically, and they got better through the draft. Like they got some key guys who could be really good rotational players for them. Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to be a player in this league for a while, and they got him for nothing. And then I think he went 13th. The draft had some solid had some solid players in it. Yeah, I look at the guy we drafted, Jaylen Tyson, and he's actually I kind of like him. I think he's a solid all around player. I think he could find. I think he could be a good rotational player. He has little flashes of Jimmy Butler to me, like just the way he shoots the ball, the like how his pace of the game, the way he plays. He's gonna take some time, obviously, to grow. But yeah, I mean, our guy like Jalen Tyson. I like Reed Shepard a lot. I actually like the guy the Lakers draft, Dalton Connect. That was a steal. I like him a lot. Terrence Shannon Jr. I mean, there was some solid players for sure. I think Zach Edey can have a good career in this league. I think his size and the skill set. Yeah, Tristan da Silva. He should be a Cavalier. Yeah, da Silva was my guy at 20. I liked him a lot. Um, I liked it. I even said on the show that was the one guy I did watch because I actually saw him play on Colorado in a random game. I think it was like last year. I just saw him randomly when Deion Sanders. It was that game Deion Sanders went to and he got hired, and I ended up watching that game because it was on TV. And I was like, man, who's this da Silva guy, number 20? I always just kind of like kept an eye on him, and he's pretty good. Yeah, I like him a lot. He had a good game today. That team, that Jet Howard dude, Juwan Howard's son can ball. Like Jet Howard could be a starting. He should probably will be a starting point guard somewhere in this league one day. I don't know if we'll get it in Orlando because they already got a guy. Well, they got Suggs and they got Cole Anthony, but he's better than Cole Anthony. He will be. I mean, Jet Howard can ball. That guy is really good. That was my first time watching him today. He can ball. But he said Minnesota got a point guard that could fit in with their place, nice fit with their play style. Yeah, Minnesota to me had the best draft, and they're scary good because they were good last year. I think they just hit a. I think they had like a first time team that deep in the playoff kind of whoa. But Ant Man to me is the man. I think he's gonna be the best. He could be the best player in the world one day. He's that good. And then you got Terrence Shannon Jr. coming off the bench. I mean, that's gonna be he'll be a spark off the bench for them. 6'6". You can put up the 2 to 3. He can handle the ball. That dude's so explosive too. All the teams that pass him are gonna regret it. I mean, I don't. Sometimes I watch some of these teams and they're scouting. You're like, no wonder why this franchise stinks. Like, no wonder why these guys suck because they pass on the guys that have high upside, have NBA game, but we're drafting guys based off the college game, which is way different, right? We expect these guys to come in and be finished products from day one, right? The whole process of it is kind of shitty. They got the Silva, KCP, more size, shooting defense. Yeah, KCP is a great pickup. Orlando got better, man. I mean, they took us 7 games and they were up 20 on us in that game 7. And right now, they got better than we did this offseason. So, I mean, I do think Kenny Atkinson is somewhat of an upgrade. Does point you in more is an upgrade in some ways for your franchise. I think he is an upgrade over JB with his just offensively running and stuff. And I like Kenny Atkinson. But from a roster construction, we have not done anything. I mean, we're just standing pat with the core 4, and that's it. I mean, maybe a sign and trade with Isaac Okoro somewhere. But that's it. We're just running back with a core four. So we're just banking on. Well, we think the coach will fix it. Well, you still need depth too. I'm sorry. I know people like Dean Wade. They call him Deaner Wade. I like Dean Wade, but I'm just sorry. Dean Wade's not. He's not the highlight of my freaking bench. I hear all these people talking. We got Dean Wade is a good player. We got Sam Merrill. We got Craig Porter Jr. Like I like Craig Porter Jr., but they ran him out of the rotation. Uh, they, I mean, Dean Wade's spotty. He's not the greatest. He wouldn't be high in my rotation. That's just me. He's all right. He could shoot. I get it, but I don't know if I'd say he's like this tremendous role player or just great player. Uh, just say, I mean, he could shoot. He could be good in spurts. He's had some good games. I get it, but I'm just saying, like, this is who we're banking on. And I like Karis LeVert, but Karis LeVert's kind of been spotty at times. I think some of that's been the offense and the rotation and stuff, and just the lack of spacing they have at times too. But and Max Struess, I like Max Struess. He can really shoot the hell out of the ball, but he can't be your starting three again. And I don't know if Max Struess can be. That's who you're banking off the most off your bench. He's more of a specialist in a way. He does rebound at times. He has that Miami DNA in him where winning basketball plays, but again, we didn't really do much. We didn't get a backup point guard. We need a real backup point guard. We didn't get one. We just sat on our ass this whole. I mean, I hope they get Gary Trent Jr. I think he would help them in a lot of ways. It's an upgrade. They need him. I think he would fit the offense really well with Atkinson as well. But the Cavs have done nothing. I mean, they've done nothing. They've sat on their ass and they just said we'll hire a new coach, and we're running back with a core four. We got two bigs. Although I think Evan is becoming a shooter, but he's not there yet. So we got two bigs up front that are 7-footers, and we got two smaller guards in the backcourt. And so, but we have no person. We have no three. We have nobody at that third spot to balance it all out, and that's what they need to find. And they just haven't found. I mean, if they could somehow pull off Cam Johnson from the Nets and not break up the core four, which I have seen some of those trade scenarios, maybe Isaac Okoro go in there in a sign and trade because teams like Isaac, and I think the Nets are kind of blowing it up. So I think Cam Johnson would help a lot. I think Cam Johnson can be a little bit of the equalizer in a lot of ways because he can switch out on the perimeter and play good defense as well. He could shoot the three. He's athletic, but they haven't done anything. Like, where do the Cavs rank right now? I mean, you got the Celtics, right? You got the Nets, or not the Nets, excuse me, the Knicks. No, hell no, not to the Knicks. The Celtics. What do you got? The Nets. I keep saying the Nets. The Knicks, Celtics, Knicks, Philly, Milwaukee. Who else? All right, that's 4 teams right there. It's better than the Cavs right now, in my opinion. You got the Celtics, the Knicks, Philly, the Bucks. Who else? Is Orlando better now? I mean, we didn't really. I mean, it wasn't like we just beat them in the playoffs. I mean, we were pretty close, and I think they got better. I mean, you can make the argument right now that the Orlando might be better than us right now in the East. Who else in the East? Yeah, Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Philly. I would probably say Orlando right now might be better next because Banchero's going to get better, right? I mean, I would say Milwaukee or not Milwaukee, yeah, Milwaukee or Orlando. So that's 5 teams. So that means the Cavs are the 6th seed right now, which is borderline play-in, right? Dean Wade just can't stay healthy. Yeah, that's another problem too. He can't stay healthy. But you can't put all your marbles off your rotation in Dean Wade because of his health too. Yeah, that's a great point. Deron Holmes and DeSilva was my pick, but Jalen Tyson growing on me, I think he'll be a LeVert replacement. I like Jalen Tyson a lot. I actually think he's got a really good NBA game. I think he can be a really good. He can play 1, 2, or 3. Well, that's actually hard to find. I mean, you got a guy with his skill set, and I like his attitude too. I think if they actually play him more, like I think the last coaching staff did do a great job with some of those guys like him that we drafted, like Amani Bates. I don't think they, sitting them and putting them in the G League sometimes isn't for a whole season and just never playing them. How do you expect them to get better? Yeah, I mean, I think they got to really let this kid play, let him mess up a little bit, but let him grow. I think by the end of the year, he could be a rotational player. for sure. Nikola DeJurz, I know what that says. What does it say? DeJurzic, drafted by the Heat, was the Serby guy. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that pick. I think they took him at like 18. I think it was right before our pick at 20. I remember that. Yeah, yeah, Minnesota, Dallas. Well, yeah, those are obvious ones better than us. That's like the whole league. But even for that perspective, though, Lynch, I mean, you look at the whole league. You're talking about competing for a championship. Uh, I named 5 teams in the East. I think that are better than the Cavs, Celtics, Knicks, Philly, Bucks. We didn't really like. It took us a Herculean effort to beat them in 7 games. The Magic, and I think the Magic got better. I put the Magic over us right now. So that's 5 teams in the East. OKC is better than us in the West. Denver, Minnesota, Dallas. I mean, Sacramento could possibly challenge us. I mean, they got better. I mean, that's 10 teams right there, the whole league. And so when we're just sitting pat and just, I mean, here the Clippers, they're the Clippers. They still got Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. I'd probably take them over us in the 7 game series. To be honest with you, I mean, it's not like it's New Orleans got better. They got DeJounte Murray. I mean, I I wouldn't have been mad if the Cavs made a move for Clay. Yeah, I mean, you could put him at the 3. I wouldn't have been mad at it either, but I wish they would go more all in. I wish they would be more aggressive. I mean, and maybe they will. I don't think it's over yet. Like, I don't think Jimmy Butler is off the table yet. You got to remember, a lot of these owners. Number one, well, let me point this out. Remember when Donovan Mitchell got traded here? Happened in September. Remember when Kyrie got traded out of Cleveland? We traded for that Isaiah Thomas in 2017. It was in August, right? Rob Pelinka did say something in Bronny's press conference that how it really works, which is all the GMs are meeting right now in Vegas because the summer league is going on there. So right, so that's actually when a lot of the summer trades that happen, the big ones, they actually get negotiated right now at summer league. That's when they start to talk. GMs are talking because they're all there. They meet, right? The GMs all meet together, and so I don't think Jimmy Butler's off the table, right? I don't. The Cavs are acting as, you know, they're not trading the core four and they're all there today at the game. I get it, but if Jimmy Butler's available, you at least have to entertain it. But I just think they got to make a move at the 3. They got to get if you can get Cam Johnson. I mean, Brandon Ingram, who I liked. I understand the whole thing of Brandon Ingram. You got to pay him and his health and all that, but I mean, they got to do something though. Like, you got to find something, right? They have to solve that 3 spot. I think Cam Johnson, to me, I think you can do a sign and trade with Okoro. I think if you can get Cam Johnson from Brooklyn, I think that it's an upgrade. You upgrade your roster. How much does it make you win in the East? No, but if Kenny Atkinson comes in and it makes it interesting. If Kenny Atkinson comes in and has a good offense and that core 4 plays better together, now you have an actual 3 who could be your starter. You know, who the hell knows? You never know. They could be rolling. They could be number 2 in the East next year if it all came together with Cam Johnson. Nah, Clippers not better as Kawhi can't stay healthy. Yeah, I mean, that's why I was kind of hesitant on it because of the health. But I think if they are healthy, I probably would take them in a 7 game series over us because Kawhi and James are definitely Kawhi is the best player on the court. Now Donovan's been great, but he can come to Cleveland with no more paint nails and shit. Yeah, I don't know if Cleveland's gonna really go fly with that. I don't know what the hell was that picture day too last year, Ledge. You saw that? That was awful. I was like, what in the hell is he doing? Yeah, you're right. Summer league is where things pop off sometimes. Yeah, and they're all meeting right now as we speak. So who knows what could be going on? Really, I mean, I don't know. How much would you have to give up for Middleton? Probably a lot. I mean, he makes a good amount of money. They want to move off of Brooke Lopez is available, and so if they trade Brooke Lopez somewhere else, they probably would want Jared Allen. I guess I would think to put alongside Giannis. So you probably have to give up Jared Allen, but I don't think they're going to get rid of Middleton because he fits the role well and he's been there and he does his job consistently. And I don't think he was the problem last year anyway. I think more of their problem is just, you made an identity switch like that middle of the season, and uh, I think there was just too much in one season. I think it took them a year to probably get all the kinks out. I think they'll be better next year with the three, with him, Giannis, and Dame. And Doc Rivers has an off season now. They got what's his name back, um, Darvin Ham's back on the staff, who was a good defensive coach over there. I rather have Cam Johnson over Middleton. He's younger too. Cam Johnson's probably the most realistic, and he is younger. You're right, the upside, and I think Cam Johnson just fits the core four really well because he's not a big name. Remember, Chris Middleton made the comments too. He would never come to Cleveland, so I don't want him here anyways. The hell with him. You don't want to be here, F him. That's just me. But I don't want somebody who doesn't want to be here. That's like Odell Beckham in Cleveland again. But guy isn't going to drop 20 consistent. You know what you're getting. Yeah. But I think you get that out of Cam Johnson, though. I think Cam Johnson has shown you what he can be. I think he'll have more of a role here. I think like a more important role at the three. I think Cam Johnson, this offense, and Kenny Atkinson's offense, they have to get a bigger wing. I think when you look at Kenny's teams in Brooklyn, we look at the Warriors, some of the stuff we bring over there, they always had at least starter caliber threes, right? Guys who could space the floor, could shoot, are athletic, could switch out the perimeter, right? You have to have that in that offense. We don't have that right now. All we have is a specialist shooter, Max Strus, who's 6'5", Okoro's 6'5", 6'6". He's more of a bench guy, who I like Okoro defensively. I think he's good off the bench, but he's not. I don't know, you could say you can't put him at the starting three when you have two smaller guards like that, two ball dominant guards, and two bigs up front that aren't great shooters. I mean, to me, you have to get that three right, and I think Cam Johnson would be the perfect fit. And I think he's consistent already. I think you're going to get what you get from him. And some nights he might go off, but some nights he'll also, if he doesn't, even if he doesn't fill it up in the scoring category, he'll still make good plays. He'll still go out there and do his job, do what he needs to do, help you defensively, right? He's long. He's got NBA Finals experience. Remember, he was on that Phoenix team that went to the finals. He's got experience there. He was actually a good role player on that team as well. Cam Johnson's perfect. Now, what I think there's a way they can do a sign and trade to get LeVert there for Cam. And if they can do it, they got to get it done. Three non-shooters when Okoro's in the lineup with the bigs. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. And then you have two guards who are smaller defensively. That's why Garland gets in foul trouble a lot, because he's always getting attacked. And you have two smaller guards, puts pressure on them, or puts pressure on your bigs as well. Gets them in foul trouble because guys are blown by your guards, forcing them to rotate over late. It just causes a lot of problems. And you put a guy in Okoro who's a good defender, but offensively, now you have three non-shooters out there, and you have two guards that are trying to share the rock. The defense knows where to zone in on, right? And so, yeah, I agree with you. That's why I think Cam Johnson will really solve a lot of problems. You know what I mean? They might not need a big name guy. They might just need the right guy. Like they might just need what they need, if that makes sense. They might need just the right guy, Cam Johnson, young player, has good upside, his skill set. He's taller, athletic. He fits the needs you have. Put him in the new system. Let's see what Kenny can do with the core four, right? Now you might have something going, actually. You got LeVert out the bench. He goes back being the legit six-man in the league, right? Now you might have something cooking. Maybe bring Gary Trent Jr. in. He's just sitting there. Make him, bring him off the bench. Another guard you need. Now you got something cooking. I think they have to do it, though. They can't just stay pat in what they're doing. It's not going to work. But, well, appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, though. That's all I got. Appreciate tuning One Sports. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Love you, brother. Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, share all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Jaylen Brown getting snubbed from the USA team? And let me say the Celtics have the perfect starting five. They really do. Man, they got the great. They're going to be so good for a while until the money says otherwise, though they can't afford it. But, yeah, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and then you got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and then Kristaps Porzingis, who's a perfect big for there. Space the floor, great defensively. Yeah, Boston's pretty damn good. And they got a great coach, too. I love their coach. Great guy as well. I feel like when Mobley and Allen are in, we could use more shooter penetration rather than small forward frame. Well, that's what Cam Johnson gives you. He gives you shooting, he gives you penetration, and he gives you all three. That's why I think he's the perfect fit. I mean, it's kind of like Lynch when you watch when you watch Michael Porter Jr. in Denver, right? He doesn't need the ball. He can play off the ball, but he's tall. He could shoot. He can penetrate. He's athletic. He can play defense. I think that's what Cam Johnson really is. That's what we need. We need our version of Michael Porter Jr. Really, I mean, that's what we're looking for, and I think we'd be a hell of a lot better. We have two solid shooters to spread defense. Yeah, we got Max Strus off the bench is a good shooter. Garland can shoot. Mitchell can shoot. Um, Merrill can shoot if you put him in, but he's a specialist shooter. Um, Although I like Merrill, but yeah, I think Moby hitting the corner three. I think he'll get that more down, which that's important. Um, yeah, I mean, if you get Cam Johnson, I mean, the Coro's probably out of here, but Levert can shoot threes. I mean, he's more of a scoring guy. Um, yeah, Monty Bates. I agree. Monty Bates has ways to go. I think Amani. It sounds like the thing with him last year was the weight. That's what they said. He says he's 20 pounds. Hey, you look bigger today. And I thought he looked pretty. I mean, I saw the first quarter. He looked okay. I think Amani Bates should have gotten more playing time last year. I think putting him in the G League from a skill standpoint, from a skill development standpoint, it didn't make any sense to put him in the G League because I think he was beyond that. You know what I mean? And you can learn a lot of bad habits in the G League. To be honest with you, it's not the greatest. But I think the more he's around the locker room, around the pros, around the guys, like learning how to be an NBA player, he has the skill set. He could score he has a unique scoring ability that most guys don't have, especially with his size. And now that if it's a weight thing, now that he has the weight, he should be in the rotation, in my opinion. I think Bates would go. I agree. Amani Bates, especially in this system, Amani Bates could be your starting three one day. He's that good of a player. Now, if you get Cam Johnson and Monty's still he comes off the bench in your rotation, that's still great. I mean, that's pretty damn good with him and Jalen Tyson, and you can do a whole. You can, and they're younger. You got fresh legs. Like that would be a really good team. But some reason, I think the old coaching staff, JB, they just did not like playing young guys at times, even in blowouts for some reason. And I think there was a lot of opportunities last year. I think they wasted with the Monty Bates. Like I agree with what Gilbert Arenas said. It was kind of stupid the way they used him last year and how they developed him. I think it was. I think I get if it's a weight thing, I get it. Let's see, he was 196. He wants to be at 210 before the season starts. Yeah, so I get if it's a weight thing, but I still think he has to play. Yeah, Luke Walton's gone. Yeah, yeah, Luke Walton's gone. We have a hell of a coaching staff too. I will say, Kenny Axton's done a really good job bringing in not only great coach but former players. Johnny Bryant, who's Donovan's guy, the top assistant now. He was in New York as a top assistant. Now he's here as our top assistant. That's a phenomenal hire, younger coach. And then Damari Carroll was with the Lakers last year. Damari Carroll played in the league a while. I remember watching Damari growing up. He's an assistant coach now. We have a really good coaching staff being developed here. And so I expect this new staff should yeah, I mean, here you listen to what Boobie Gibson was saying last year. He was an assistant coach on the development staff. He's like, he was working with Amani Bates a lot. He's like, I think this dude should be playing more. Like, he needs to be up. Like, he's pretty damn good. But some reason he just didn't. They didn't put him up there. Why I don't know. But other teams do it. I mean, but I expect Kenny Axton when he was in Brooklyn. You look at the Warriors, how the Warriors are. They play young guys a lot, and they do it. And so I think he'll do the same thing. You're going to see Jalen Tyson. You're going to see Amani Bates up there, and they should be playing. Let's see what they got. And if they mess up early, that's okay. They're rookies, right? They're young players, but as they grow in time, they get the kinks out. You might get some pretty solid role players that you need and size, especially with Amani Bates and scoring. I mean, and Jalen Tyson, same thing. Bring Darius Miles out of retirement. Blame JB for having a short leash. Yeah, I agree. You're probably right. JB is that kind of coach, and I like JB. I hope he does well in Detroit. I like JB. I like JB because he always cussed out referees. Like he had no problem. Like he had a little Cleveland in him. Like just telling it like it is. You know what I mean? Just cussing people out. But yeah, you could definitely tell he had a short leash. In the locker room here, just like I said about Bronny earlier, the environment he's walking into. You look at that report the Athletic put out after the season about how the locker room basically turned on Bickerstaff. How could Imani Bates thrive in that locker room? People don't understand when you're a rookie coming in the NBA and you walk into a bad locker room, a bad situation, and you're fresh as, you're very new to it all. You don't understand a lot of it. That's a bad place for a rookie to be in, unless the coach like loves you and he's going to do everything for you. I mean, that's a bad place for a rookie to be in. How can he grow and thrive in that? So it sounds like Imani Bates might have been in not a great situation for a rookie last year when all the vets on the team are in the, I mean, they're all sitting there. JB's sitting in a little speech, and then he hears all the vets in the back are like, "Man, this JB on some bullshit. Like, the hell, we need to get this, like, get him up out of here." Like, that's, I mean, he's gonna start thinking otherwise. He's a rookie. He looks up to those guys, not the coach. You know what I mean? That's the NBA. But these are guys that he's watched, right? And so, but I expect now. I like Kenny Atkinson a lot. You could tell Kenny is a player's coach. Or you could tell just the way he interacts with guys. Like, if I was a player, I would love to play for Kenny Atkinson. I just like his attitude, his style. He's laid back, his offense. You could just tell it's belief he has in his players. I mean, he took that Brooklyn team from nothing to something, and he really developed a lot of those guys. I mean, and did a hell of a job. He's a really good coach, and so I think Imani and all these guys have been in a really good situation to thrive here. They should be, right, and they need it to work. These guys should be playing. So, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Appreciate all you guys. Shout out to Tune In One Sports. Shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to everybody watching tonight. Like, subscribe, share this content for your boy. And yeah, next time I'm back up here, my man Mike will be back up here. We're gonna get into some NFL stuff here. Season's around the corner. Maybe the Cavs make a trade. I don't know. We'll go live and react to it. So we'll see what happens. But love all you guys. Like, subscribe, share all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm out of here. I'm saluting. I'm out. Gone.